Seikon no Qwaser is one of those shows that started off like one way, but ended up completely fucking different.
It was a surprisingly good premise with not good execution as it went on.
Oh god, the execution. That's putting it lightly.
So before we continue, let's do some defining here for those of you who are not familiar with Seikon no Qwaser, or in English, the Qwaser of Stigmata.
Yes.
It's a series.
Yeah.
It's an action fighting series about alchemists who get their power from breast milk.
Yes.
Which is a very silly, very blatantly fan servicey concept, but otherwise, the other part of it is that the alchemists each control a single element. And it's actually really interesting to see how they all, like, scientifically react with each other.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, the main character, his element is iron.
Like, everything about the premise except the breast milk part is actually really solid and interesting.
Yeah. What were they call themselves? Athos?
I think, were those the good guys?
I don't know. There's a lot of names tossed around.
There were a bunch of like fighting religious groups was the plot of it.
Yeah, the fan sub didn't really help out a lot because it went through the version we watched. It went through like 5 different fan subbers.
Oh yeah,
it did. Groups, and they all had different ideas of how to like spell things.
There are at least 1 or 2 infamous bad subtitlings in that show. Like, he's also known as Mancrap, the human pyrotechnic. That's from that show.
Yeah, there was so the main villains, they ran into a problem early on. Yeah. They had like a couple of like really skilled Qwasers with like really skilled elemental powers.
They sent out their best at him right away. There was like the Oxygen Lord and the gas chamber, the chlorine master.
Yeah, and like stuff like that.
Really powerful, threatening Qwasers.
Then after a while, you know what they sent at him? The Helium Brothers.
Were there 3 of them?
There were 3 of them.
Yeah, there were 3 of them.
There were actually 4 of them, but they sent out 3 of them because I guess they didn't want to put all their eggs in one basket.
Well, we only knew about they only announced the 3 of them.
Yeah,
and there's just 3 mooks who
they died quickly.
Really shitty Qwasers were no threat at all. After that,
they
were running out of Qwasers. They were out of dudes.
So they sent Russians at them.
Yeah,
Russians with machine guns.
The next group of enemies they encounter is just the Russian mob. They just sent some mercenaries because they're out of supernatural people.
That was so great. It was just like, oh my god.
It was so real, kind of realistic in that they just ran out of resources as the series went on.
So what was so they didn't announce what their exact plan was. They just needed.
They were trying to get a painting.
No, don't call it a painting. They call it the
Theotokos of Mary Sue.
Of Saracen.
Saritsu, Mary Sue. It had like 5 different names.
Yeah, they need to get that. They need to get something else. The
Sword of Maria. No, we didn't know about the Sword of Maria yet.
The Sword of Maria. And then they needed to initiate
all the MacGuffins.
Sar's crowning.
Sar's crowning. All the MacGuffins. All the rituals.
But you know what it entails? They just summoned a castle.
They went to a lake and did a magic incantation that summoned a water castle to get what it turned out was a painting. To resurrect their lord, the Qwaser of Gold. It was so JRPG.